I described to a nurse that I had been drinking a lot more lately, but I meant sodas. So imagine my surprise when I got a copy of the doctor notes and it falsely put me as an alcoholic.
Disability Rights Texas presents How to Be Your Own Best Advocate with DRTX intern Larissa Minner.
One day in kindergarten, we were all getting ice cream, and we had a substitute teacher that same day. One by one, all of my other classmates got their ice cream cones, and finally it was my turn to get ice cream. But instead of handing me an ice cream cone, the substitute teacher told me that my mom had told me that I could not have ice cream. I spoke up and I explained that she was mixing me up with a different girl. But sadly, I was still not given my ice cream. Fast forward several years later, and I was denied the accommodation of working from home and logging into a meeting virtually. After explaining my support needs and putting together a compelling case, I was given the requested accommodation. Now, you might be wondering what these two stories have in common. Well, they're both times that I self-advocated. I'm Larissa, and I'm a current intern with Disability Rights Texas, and we're working together to co-produce this video series called How to Be Your Own Best Advocate. I will share with you some things that I have found helpful when speaking up for myself. This first video covers the following topics. First, I will talk about what exactly self-advocacy means. Then, I will discuss some tips and tools for problem solving. And then finally, I will talk about how to be assertive and not aggressive when speaking up for yourself. So first, what is self-advocacy? Well, it's the ability to effectively communicate your needs, wants, disabilities, and rights, as well as strengths. Now that we've defined what self-advocacy is, I will talk about how to problem solve when you're speaking up for yourself. Now, I'm going to share a personal experience from a time when I had to fix a problem. So we'll rewind several years ago. I described to a nurse that I had been drinking a lot more lately, but I meant sodas. So imagine my surprise when I got a copy of the doctor notes and it falsely put me as an alcoholic. So the first step was I had to decide whether the problem was worth fixing. So I investigated the problem by asking myself this question: how does this problem affect me? Now, my doctor could incorrectly think that they could not prescribe me a medication safely, since alcohol could affect that. So this was a problem worth fixing. And it was unfortunately a problem that I couldn't fix myself. So after evaluating the problem, I had to think of the next step, and that was to describe the steps that I did and also to describe the problem when asking for help. I wrote a note to the office manager and I explained what happened, that there had been a misunderstanding and that I had been talking about non-alcoholic beverages, and now there was incorrect information in my medical record that could affect my treatment plan. So I requested that a clarification gets put in my medical record, and it ended up working. So another time that I had to do a similar skill, and I would say this is they're all important, but this is a really important skill, and that is how to be assertive and not aggressive. And this skill has been really helpful for me. So one of the most important times for me that I had to self-advocate was when I talked to my psychiatrist, and I explained that I thought I had been misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder, And this was important because my medications weren't working and it was causing a lot of side effects. So instead of making accusations and being like, you misdiagnosed me, it's your fault or anything like that, instead I explained that both my therapist and myself were suspecting that I'm autistic, and I explained my concerns and problems with the medication. And because I had been assertive and not aggressive, I think that's why my outcome was optimal and I was able to be evaluated for autism. So another time that I was careful to be assertive and not aggressive was when I was denied an accessible public transportation. So I researched the laws and I put together a case and I explained that I was not able to stand on a moving bus and that a seat could not be guaranteed. So instead of just saying, oh, it was an unfair decision, I actually put together my case and I explained it calmly, and I ended up being approved. So that's why being assertive is so important instead of being aggressive. So in this video, we covered a lot. We talked about what self-advocacy is, and we discussed some problem-solving skills, as well as we talked about the importance of being assertive and not aggressive. You can find out a summary of this information on Disability Rights Texas website. Go to www.trx.org/self-advocate to learn more. And we would love to hear your comments. We would love to hear your comments, and in the comments, put your examples of times that you self-advocated. Be sure to check out our other 2 videos in this exciting series, How to Be Your Best Advocate.
Content for this resource is provided by DRTX self-advocate intern Larissa Minner of the University of Texas ACT Lend Practicum program and is based on her research and professional and personal experience. This handout is not intended to and does not replace an attorney's advice or assistance based on your particular situation.